doing?
Hey, IG.
Number 10, Benji.
I feel love all around.
Benji, a homeless mixed breed living in a decrepit old deserted house, wishes nothing more than to be adopted by the Chapmans. Unfortunately, the household's matriarch hates canines, and to make matters infinitely worse, an unsavory bunch has taken interest in Benji's house and the Chapman family. As the first of many films starring the titular mutt, Benji is a daring and lovable adventurer that truly puts the dog in the front and center of the story.
You never know when you'll find someone who'll change your life. I just didn't expect he'd be this furry.
Benji is the movie's hero, heart, and soul. Luckily, the animal is more than up to the task.
Then can they go home with us? Please, Daddy, just till Tiffany gets well.
No, I'm afraid we'd grow too attached to him by then. I think we better plan on them staying for good. Unless, of course, they get tired of us.
Oh, thank you, Daddy. Thank you.
Number 9, Isle of Dogs.
Before we attack each other and tear ourselves to shreds like a pack of maniacs, let's just open the sack first and see what's actually in it. It might not even be worth the trouble.
There is no other director quite like Wes Anderson, so unsurprisingly, Isle of Dogs is a rather unique stop-motion animated film. Primarily set on the desolate trash island where all dogs have been banished, a young boy named Atari arrives to try and find his long-lost pet.
Fetch it!
I'm telling you, I don't fetch.
Along with a quirky sense of humor and a star-studded voice cast, Isle of Dogs blends some genuinely stunning visuals with an endearing story, as the abandoned dogs try to help Atari reunite with Spots. While the animals are not traditionally cute, the dogs share a camaraderie that is simply admirable.
I've never been offered a puppy snap in my life. I don't even know what they taste like. Okay, I'll try it. Crunchy. Salty. Supposedly it cleans your teeth.
Number 8, Beethoven.
I take back almost everything I ever said about you being cold and insensitive.
Dad, I take back anything I ever said about you, too.
Co-written by John Hughes, this 1992 comedy stars a Saint Bernard with a love for classical music and shenanigans. Beethoven brings barely anything new to the table. However, there is something undeniably likable about the golden-hearted yet slightly troublesome dog.
No, you can't even see. Mine is back.
What's going on here?
The plot mainly revolves around Beethoven's rocky relationship with his owner George Newton, who takes a while to see the Saint Bernard as anything more than an extra and unnecessary responsibility. While a bit too slapstick heavy and slightly redundant, Beethoven is a nevertheless sweet and harmless film, one that spawned a litter of sequels. Number 7, Hachi, A Dog's Tale.
Everyone called Hachi a mystery dog because they never really knew where he came from.
Dog movies are infamous for being tearjerkers, but Hachi, A Dog's Tale exists on a level all of its own. A remake of a Japanese film from the 1980s that also happens to be based on a true story, Hachi is all about the eternal loyalty shared between the titular Akita Inu pup and his owner.
What are you doing? What are you doing here?
While most other films encompass an unflinchingly sad moment with a ton of action or comedy, Hachi is unfiltered tragedy, while also somehow being strangely uplifting. 2 statues exist in honor of Hachiko, and the dog more than earned both of them.
But when I hear about him and Hachi, I feel like I know him. They taught me the meaning of loyalty. That you should never forget anyone that you've loved.
Number 6, Old Yeller.
Hey, what you guys doing?
Monica's making us watch Old Yeller.
Whenever dog movies are discussed, Disney's classic has to be mentioned in one way or another. Old Yeller centers around the Coates family and is just as much a coming-of-age story of the 2 sons as it is about the protective Mastador. Disney's family-friendly brand is stamped all over Old Yeller. However, the film remains grounded in reality and does not shy away from showing the more unfortunate side of owning a pet.
Anyhow, I brought him to you.
Well, I got me a dog. Old Yeller.
Old Yeller's ending has to be among cinema's most widely known, but there is more to appreciate here than just an unforgettable conclusion.
Best doggone dog in the West. Best doggone dog in the West.
Number 5, Air Bud.
You like basketball?
Only the 90s could have produced a film about a dog who plays basketball that ended up successful enough to spawn an entire franchise. Air Bud is a goofy yet endearing sports comedy that is elevated by the irresistible performance by the titular golden retriever. Even if the movie's human-driven drama is a tad contrived and shallow, Air Bud delivers exactly what the title promises, nothing more, nothing less. While a product of its time, and the less said about the sequels the better, Air Bud's charm has not faded with the years. Number 4, Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey.
What? What did you say? No way!
Animal stories frequently return to the same well. A pet is taken from their home and then spends the rest of the movie trying to return. Considering it's a remake of a film from the 60s, Homeward Bound cannot claim to be the first to walk this path. However, Disney's delightful tale about 2 dogs and a cat's perilous journey through the mountain lion-infested wilderness comes close to perfecting the formula.
I can't believe it.
These are them!
This guy's in pretty bad need of a vet.
Okay, guys, you're going home.
Home?
Oh, yeah, you're going home.
Home.
Opting to never take itself too seriously while still offering something for both children and adults to enjoy, Homeward Bound is simply a fun, adventurous, and regularly funny film starring 3 charming animals.
It was old. It was too far. It was just too old.
Oh, Peter, honey.
Peter.
Number 3, 101 Dalmatians.
Good heavens of all the...
Based on a 1950s novel by Dodie Smith, 101 Dalmatians is a beloved cartoon featuring one of the most fabulous and downright crazy villains ever animated by Disney. For animal lovers, frankly, there is almost too much adorableness to keep track of, and we are not just talking about the 101 Dalmatians.
Yes, it's a miracle.
Roger had a wonderful Christmas present.
And look, there's a whole lot more.
Look, Anita, puppies everywhere.
While the story is rather straightforward and the decent animation feels like mid-tier Disney, 101 Dalmatians is still a remarkably entertaining ride, and although the studio has tried to recapture the magic a handful of times, 1961's original remains by far the best.
We'll have a Dalmatian plantation where our population can roam.
I'm hungry,
In
Mother.
this new location, our whole aggregation will love our plantation home.
Number 2, Lassie Come Home.
Thank you, Lassie. What's the matter, Lassie?
In cinema, there is no other dog as recognizable as Lassie. Starring in 7 MGM films during the 40s and early 50s, a TV series, and a couple of pretty decent remakes, Lassie is a cultural icon and seems destined to endure forever. Starring a rough collie named Pal as the iconic dog, Lassie tells the timeless tale of a pet trying desperately to return to the loving Yorkshire arms of its former owner.
I think she'll be an addition to our act, don't you, Toots?
Along the way, various challenges are faced, but the canine always finds a way to persevere regardless of the dangers.
Because unlike people, dogs are naturally good.
I want to make sure he's treated right.
Artie, this here is a dog. It's not a child. It's not your dog. That poor dog's going back across the river.
Oh, Skip! Come on, boy, get out of here! Try to baseball, go!
Hey! Get that dog out of here!
She's taking me to Penny.
I can be a valuable addition to your team.
The road will be rough.
I have a ball.
Easy won't be part of the equation.
Promise.
Danger at every turn.
I eat danger for breakfast. You hungry? Any kind of a monster dog, are you? Ooh.
Say hello. No, don't let him do that. Sorry. You just have to, all you have to do is you just knee him if he does that.
In some ways, 2008's adaptation of John Grogan's autobiographical book is the quintessential dog movie. There is very little drama, and the story is mainly about the mutual loyalty shared between the human owners and Marley, the family's cute but uncontrollable Labrador retriever.
Marley! Hi, honey. Oh, hi.
Putting aside the ending that is likely to leave most viewers with red eyes, Marley and Me devotes its time to letting Marley be playful, innocently destructive, and comically rambunctious. Marley and Me is the definitive film about being the proud owner of a dog, even if Marley is anything but ordinary.
A dog has no use for fancy cars or big homes or designer clothes. A waterlogged